guys, Al here. We're going to do a reading about Bryan Kohberger. Here he is. He's the one accused of killing the 4 Idaho University students. And if you look in his eyes, he really does have that blank stare that often you see in people who kill. I would love to think, he's a great guy and everything, but when I look in his eyes, it makes me a little, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe he is the person, and it sounds like the police have good reason to believe he is. I think I've heard DNA even, so, or that he's got the right car. There's just a lot that's lining up. But we're going to ask cards, see what the cards have to say, and see if he is perhaps our guy. I took a class with Pam Coronado. Actually, I've taken several of her classes. She is a psychic that used to have one of those TV shows, where they investigate murders. And one of the things she would teach us was to look in their eyes, and you can see that vacant kind of look, like they're there, like they're staring, but like you don't see like life inside their eyes. There's just this dead look to them. He unfortunately has that dead look when I look into his eyes. So we're going to go ahead and ask about Bryan. We're just going to ask if he's the killer, and we're going to ask a little bit about was anyone else involved? Did anyone else know about this? We're going to ask about a little bit motive, and will he be found guilty? So let me just concentrate on him for a second. I'm just going to look at his picture because sometimes that helps me focus on people, especially since he's still alive. A lot of the time I'm reading people who are passed, but this one's alive. And I wasn't sure about that. They said he's wearing a suicide vest. So I wondered if he had tried to kill himself or if they thought he was going to. Okay, Bryan. Tell me about Bryan Kohberger being involved in the murders. See the one who did it. He definitely has just a blank, vacant stare. Tell me about Bryan Kohberger. And that's the first one right here. So this is the 8 of Wands. That's things going really, really fast. Really fast. And I think that has happened. We got information about him. Everything turned really quickly. Let's see what else, though, because that's a lot of things coming fastly. So, I could see that as being a substitute for a weapon. But let me ask a little bit more about Bryan Kohberger actually being the person who committed these murders. Let's see, because last time we got that 7 of Swords as kind of the card representing the person who did it. Well, there's the Queen of Swords. I feel like a woman did tell on him. Didn't I say something about that before? Like a woman was going to rat him out. It's going to happen real quickly and the truth was going to come out. I wonder about that. I wonder if somebody ratted him out. It just seems like somebody did. That's what I believe, that the truth is coming out. Makes you wonder who that is. It could possibly be his own mother, but I don't know. I just wonder. We'll ask it. Did anyone else know? I didn't get for sure that he's the killer, to be honest with you. I didn't get a card that said, yes, this is your murderer. I got things happening fast and the truth coming out, because I think the Queen of Swords is speaking truth. So in that sense, let me ask just for a little clarification, because I'd really like to see, like, yes, this is a murderer type card. Bryan Kohberger. Tell me about him, Bryan Kohberger, being the murderer, being the one that killed these other people. It does seem like somebody's going to test a woman, is going to testify against him, or has already. All right, it's these first two. This is really interesting. And I'm only saying that because I got these in these 2 exact cards. in a case I was just reading earlier. King of Wands. So we've got our king as the active king, somebody who's doing things. And then we've got King of Cups, and King of Cups is our feeling king, so being led by his emotions. So what I'm getting is actions led by emotions. The tarot wants to tell me more of a story about Bryan here. Seems this guy's emotions, I just see this King of Cups staring off vacantly, sort of like Bryan does. Just staring off vacantly, and his emotions all inside of him. And then we've got our Mr. Wands here, King of Wands, which acts on that. It's like this girl, maybe this is one of the girls. Honestly, it could be. I suppose the Queen of Swords could have said something to him that really upset him. It was her truth. That's a possibility. And this guy can't handle things like that. It's either that or a woman kind of rats him out. All right, let's ask if anybody else was involved. Tell me about someone else being involved, because we did pick just 2 kings just a minute ago. Someone else being involved. There's a lot more to the story is what I'm getting here, because tarot wants it to come through. So let's see what we get. Someone else being involved. Well, no, I think that's him alone. That's the 4 of Pentacles, and that guy's alone, and he's holding everything really close to him. And isn't that irony that we've got the 4? Pentacles honestly can stand for bottom times, and we've got 4 right here, and he's holding them very close. Kind of a creepy card when you put it into that perspective. I think he acted. I don't see that anybody else was involved. So far, I've got things happening really fast. The truth kind of coming out. This guy acting on his emotions, and his emotions. He sounds. We got that before. I just think this guy's kind of messed up, to be honest with you. Just not right. Just not right at all. All right, so it looks like he acted alone. Let me ask about, did anyone else know? Anyone else know Bryan had done this? Because we had that Queen of Swords, which makes me curious. Did anyone else know Bryan had done this? Could have confessed to somebody. My logical mind says no, but let's see what the cards say. It seems like people were kicking it around, to be honest with you, because this is the 2 of Pentacles. And so I do believe some people were questioning what may have happened that night with him. They were. Yeah, it looks like they were. He was under people's radar. He was somebody who was thought of as a little suspicious. That's interesting. So it's like they knew, but they didn't want to, not they knew for sure, but they suspected. They didn't want to believe it. Like, that can't be true. You know what I mean? We've all had that situation where there's somebody that you hear something about them and you're like, no, that can't be true. And you're weighing it back and forth. That's what this guy's doing. It's like somebody was weighing it back and forth. Like, could that possibly be? Let me ask about mental illness with this Bryan Kohberger, something like that. Tell me about his mental state, mental illness before before the arrest. I want to know about, is this something he suffered from? Because I feel like he did. And we had that King of Cups. I do feel like he was under the influence. I said that before, and I think he was. I think he was under influence. Kind of that led him to do things. Tell me about, and I'm not saying it was drinking. It could have been other things, pills, whatever. Tell me about mental illness. I'm going to take both of them. Well, the Page of Pentacles, and he is somebody who's young and really focused, as you can see. He's really, really focused on, unfortunately, this looks like a body or his idea, his, I hate to say it, but it seems like he may have, and things are alluding that he may have had fantasies like this. And this guy sure does seem focused on it. He's focused on money too. For whatever reason, it seems like money played a role in here. We've got the Four of Pentacles, we've got the Two of Pentacles, and now we have the Page of Pentacles. Got that before, that there may have been some money element there. Something with him to do with money. And because of that, he acted. The Ace of Wands is taking an action because of this other situation here. He seems very, very, very focused. There are money around a person. And it could have been, if one of those girls shot him down, which may have happened to this Queen of Swords, and it hurt his little feelings. That very well may have been what happened here. I hope that's not the truth. Mental illness. I do feel like this guy was obsessive. That's what he was. He was obsessive. Obsessive to the point that he acted on it. He had obsessive compulsion. Yeah, he was obsessive compulsive. That's what he was. All right, so he was mentally ill. Revenge. Let's ask if it's revenge, because that is a possibility here now. We know that. Was this a revenge for maybe to one of the students that he was upset at? Is this revenge? Tell us about this being revenge. Tell us about this being revenge. My understanding is this guy was pretty heavy for a lot of his life and made fun of and bullied, but then when he got skinnier, he became a bully. Again, speculation, things you read online. Rumors. Tell us about revenge. Is this revenge? Well, it's about power is what it is. This is the Emperor, and he wants to be in charge, and he wants to feel powerful. This guy's got weird fantasies, and I saw that before in my last reading. He wants to feel powerful, and this makes him powerful. Makes him feel in charge. It makes him feel in control. Emperor is in control to the 9th degree. Like, people are going to do what the Emperor says. And Bryan also needed to feel in control, which makes me feel that there was something about that situation, about these people, that made him feel inferior. And he wanted to feel strong. And this made him feel strong. It's very bizarre. He's got a very bizarre psychological complex going on. He's really obsessive. He can't change his thoughts. He gets his thoughts on one thing, his patterns, and he's like obsessed with that. And his thoughts won't go anywhere else. His emotions are ruling his actions. And there's something about the truth that he cannot accept. He has a real hard time with the truth. Real hard time with the truth. He needs to feel powerful. This made him feel powerful. It's like that, The Good Nurse. Remember The Good Nurse on Netflix? You can watch it. He was just killing people. Just because. No real reason. Just because. It made him feel powerful. And this guy's similar. He wants to feel powerful. Strong. How weird. Next, we're going to ask, is this a weird fantasy? Let me just focus on that for a second. Is this a weird fantasy? I think he had mom issues. I know this sounds weird, but the more I'm looking at that Queen of Swords, I think mom was so straightforward with him and communicative with him and all very into trying to get him to talk and all this stuff. There was just his own privacy felt like he couldn't quite have with her or something. You know, some parents really, really care. His mom really, really cared. To the point that she would like sit him down and try to get him to talk to her a lot, and he had a real hard time with that. I almost get a you know, people who are sometimes have autism are kind of inside emotional. They keep all their emotions inside. They have a hard time expressing them. I get that kind of feeling from him, and that mom is very trying to get him to express his emotions, and that is very hard for him. She seems overbearing to him because of that, when really she is caring about him and trying to get him to almost level up, is the words that's coming to me. Like advance, become more, open up more. And he just has a real hard time with that. He has like mom issues. He does. It's really weird. Okay, weird fantasy. Let's talk about weird fantasy here. I think there was like a slight sexual element to this, but that's not what drove him to do it. It's the power. Power feeds his sexuality, not the actual sex. It's a very strange element. Very weird. Okay, weird fantasy. Yeah, this is like taking somebody out of the world, fantasizing about it. He did. Saying made him feel powerful. And why do I say that? Again, we just had the Emperor, now we've got the King of Swords. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Very powerful man. It made killing actually made him sexually excited. This is really weird, but yeah, that's what I'm getting. The act of or the thought of killing sexually excited this guy. And it wasn't just like sex. At the end of the day, it's the power. You see this guy? He's all about power. King of Swords. He is all about power. Yeah, going back to Queen of Swords, I keep popping her in my head. She had a lot of power over him. There's a lot of weird elements to this. Growing up, mom had a lot of power over him. Mom wasn't in any way like oppressive or anything, but he was oppressed inside his emotions. Something with him wasn't right from the beginning. And so he saw this parental figure as very powerful. And because she was so able to express her emotions, that was powerful. And he didn't have that at all. He didn't have that ability. He didn't have that power behind him. He was a very inside, quiet, keep it all in kind of guy, not one to express himself. And so there was issues with women because of that. He felt inferior to them. He did. He felt inferior to women, especially women who communicated, were really good at communicating. Yeah, it's very strange. So when he has these uh, fantasies, in my head, I'm literally, this is weird, but I'm literally hearing he masturbates to this, like these fantasies of killing people, being powerful over them. It's not the sex that turns him on, it's the power that turns him on, the power over other people. This guy's really screwed up. He's really screwed up. Like from little, he's screwed up. And it's not his parents' fault or anything. When I was talking about his mom was a caring person who really tried to sit him down and make him communicate with her. But he inside emotionally wasn't able to do that. He was kind of all a little mixed up inside. From like birth, I think this guy was mixed up. He didn't understand emotions, like almost frightened him a little bit. Especially exploring them, bringing them out to light. We've all known people like this that just can't express themselves emotionally, but yet inside they really, really feel, and they feel deep, and they are hurting inside because they can't express. It never comes out. So they do something like this. They do this crazy act, and it's a huge release, and it makes them feel powerful in that act. Yeah, it's weird. All right. Well, I think that explains him. Really weird stuff going on here with this guy, but it's power. He did it for the power. At the end of the day, he wanted to feel powerful, and he's obsessive in his mind. He's mentally ill. He's not right. He's emotionally like damaged. Um, but it's more of like a chemical, biological deal. It's not, I don't think anything terrible happened to him. He just is like, I kind of feel like he's a little autistic or something. There's something about him that's a little off. And I don't take that the wrong way and start running around saying, um, autistic people are going to kill. That's not what I'm saying, people. No. What I'm saying is he doesn't understand how to express himself in a way, communicating that he can sit down, have a conversation with someone else, and feel like he has power in that conversation. And so a lot of his life, he has not felt powerful because, and that's where he became a bully. Yeah, he never, it's making sense now. He never understood how to express his feelings in a healthy manner. And I don't even know that he's capable of it. And that part of not being capable is a biological, chemical, um, kind of mysterious thing he was born with. That is something he was born with. So part of this, as much as everybody's going to hate me for saying this, is not his fault. Truth is, he's kind of born screwed up, is what I'm seeing. Like he's born screwed up. And then he had all these things in life that made him feel inferior, inferior, inferior. And he never learned to communicate correctly, even though his mother tried. I see his mother tried really hard um, to get him to express his emotions. He never learned that. So now we've got a guy that can't express his emotions, feels inferior, and um, fantasizes about being strong, being the emperor, being the king of swords. This is who he wanted to be. And he has fantasies about that. And in his mind, the ultimate fantasy and the ultimate weirdly turn on for him, because there was a little sexual element in here, is overpowering and killing. That was a huge turn on for him. Not only just sexually, but like he's inferior and that's elevating him. Now he's becoming more, now he's stronger. It's very weird dynamic. Um, Probably none of this will ever come out because this is going to take like a huge psychiatrist. Like, maybe they'll make a TV show about him. But that's what I'm getting from him. He's screwed up, guys. He's just screwed up. He's really, really screwed up. Like biologically, chemically, from birth. This guy's screwed up. Yeah. All right. That's what I'm getting from about Bryan Kohberger. Doesn't look like he's a real healthy individual. I will just ask one more time. I see that he had a murder fantasies. We never got a card saying for sure he is the murderer. So let me ask one more time. Is Bryan Kohberger the actual murderer, the person who killed these people? Because I would expect to get a death, a tower, and I didn't. I got a story about him. I like that tarot brings us the whole picture because as humans, we want to say that's a horrible person. That person is just terrible. And we want to just say, we want to basically take them out and burn them on a cross. Sometimes you almost feel like they deserve it, but our humanity, let's face it, there's so much more going on inside each and every one of us that we don't understand about the other person. And we really, really are quick to jump to, that's just a horrible, horrible person. And yes, this guy did horrible things. He absolutely did. But he's pretty screwed up. He's pretty screwed up. And it wasn't even like a worldly thing. He was like born screwed up. He was born screwed up. All right, tell us about him being the murderer because we need to know for sure. This is Bryan Kohberger, our guy. Well, I do see these cards more leaning in that direction. The magician tries to hide things, right? The magician was trying to hide himself. And then we have the moon, and we've got all that anxiety and all that stuff I was just talking about, all that trepidation, all that weird emotions, all that, things looking one way and not being, they can look one way, but they're actually another. And that's what I'm seeing a lot in this situation. Things look one way, but they're actually another. So take that as you will. As screwed up as we have Bryan being here, um, and this very well may be Bryan being hiding things and being all his anxiety and all that weirdness getting the best of him to where he did things. Now he's trying to hide. We get it. He was trying to hide. Um, but I will just go out on a limb and say I can interpret this another way, and that is that that things are not as they seem. And we all think he's the murderer, but things are not as they seem because that is reflected both in the moon and in the magician. So logically, I want to say it looks like he is the person, but I am getting cards that I could see it going another way as well. As screwed up as Bryan is, and he does have weird power fantasies and all that stuff. Um, yeah, I do think he. Okay, let me ask one more. It's interesting. Tell me about Bryan. Tell me about Bryan being the one that murdered him, because I've asked multiple times and I'm not getting death. Ten of Swords, Tower, all those cards. I'm getting a story. This does fit our theme. Tell me about Bryan being the murderer. All right. Okay, so now we seem to be more along the track of, yeah, fitting that profile. Because now we have all the worry, the girl in her bed. It's really sad that this card popped up, but yeah, basically the girl in her bed, her nightmares coming true in her bed. And then we have the death card. You know, this isn't death as in the death card. There is another death card, but this is the Ten of Swords. Things are finished, and if that guy doesn't look dead, I don't know what he looks like. Um, so it does look like Bryan to me. It does. It's like he tried to make it look another way, though. Very interesting. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. He tried to make it look different. He tried to make it look like something other than him. And he's really fighting his impulses. He's such an impulsive guy. Weird. Very weird. All right. Well, we'll learn more about this whole situation, but a lot of strange psychological dynamics going on here. Take care. Bye-bye.